Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today we've got a brand new GPS tracker from SIZZAPP. This is their top of the line model, the GPS Max. Now I've reviewed a couple of these, but it's been many years. They used to be on a subscription basis, so you bought it and you were still on the hook if you actually wanted to use it. All of that has changed. Now we have a simple purchase. It's basically like an AirTag. You buy it once, and boom, you've got the use of it. Uses a special SIM, works on the cell network, but it's so cheap just using a trickle of data, there's no subscription fees. So it's got a 2-year warranty. This is specifically for motorcycles, but can be used on whatever you want to plug it into. And this particular model just has a 2-wire direct to the battery connection, and it's off and running. They also have car-specific ones or more temporary install models that, for example, just plug into your OBD2 port. Obviously not great for a motorcycle, but here we have the device itself. This just connects directly to the battery. You place it wherever out of the way. Just needs to have a clear enough signal to get cell. So basically don't put it in a metal box. That's really about it. Everything else is in the app. Now, why would you want this? Obviously, one, for security. If you are worried about your bike getting stolen, this is an easy way to track it. I want it specifically for trip purposes. Now, I've used dedicated apps on my phone before, and man, let me tell you what, that eats up your phone battery. You have to have your phone on power to use those kinds of apps. And that's for friends and family to be able to track you on a live map during your trip. And the more updates that thing goes through, the more battery it's sucked down from your phone. So no more worrying about any of that. Installation should be self-explanatory. This can go in switched power if, like me, you're not worried about the bike being stolen. Mine's stored inside a garage and locked, but if it's outside, definitely go directly to the battery. And everything else is going to be software. So I'm going to install it, and then we'll take a look at the app. And just FYI, you do have a sheet here with QR codes for downloading the app and the manual. However, the QR code for the app does not work. It looks like they tried to use a free account and the number of uses has expired. However, the manual does work. And just to clarify, they call it the SIZZAPP app on this sheet. In the Apple Store, it's called SIZZAPP Pro, right there. And on step 2 here, it says to connect the app to your device using the IMEI. They show something here on the device itself. On the unit I have, I'm not going to show it to you, but the actual number is here on my box. So install is unsurprisingly very simple. You've just got 2 wires to connect. Got plenty of room here, just strapped it down, and that's it. There is an adhesive tape on the back of the unit, so you can connect it however you need to. Now, you can either go switched. I have this Fuseblock configured as switched power or constant power. The only thing that you're going to be giving up if you use switched power is the ability to track the bike while the bike is not running. If you need that, say you're in an apartment or you use a parking deck for long-term storage or you keep it in a shed or whatever, if you're concerned about the bike being physically taken while it's not running and you want this to track, you have to wire either direct to the battery or through a fuse block that is on constant power, which is direct to the battery. That way, this always has power to work, and you will be able to track this however it is. Now, you have to bear in mind that anything attached to a battery like that will eventually drain it. Some devices a lot faster than others, but just bear that in mind. So keep an eye on your battery charge if you go direct and you keep it long-term off of a trickle charger or anything like that. That's it. You don't need any kind of special position for it. It's not GPS, so you don't need line of sight to the sky or anything. As long as it's on your bike, it's going to connect to the cell signal service and work. So everything else about it is in the app. Let's run through it. So here's the home screen of the app. You can customize the picture of the motorcycle. You can name it whatever you like and that kind of stuff. You can see it shows real-time battery voltage. Now, it did take about 10 minutes for it to actually come online, register itself on the network before it showed up here on the app. It just switched from showing offline to deep sleep. Deep sleep means the bike isn't moving, so it's not going to draw a ton of power. This is what it's going to be if you wire direct and it's just sitting there with the bike off. So it is a very small draw, but it is a draw nonetheless. Now, once you start moving, then everything changes and you get real-time data coming through. So the next thing I have to do here is go for a ride and we'll see more change on these screens. If you go to settings, configuration, here is where you can set thresholds and timeouts and all that kind of good stuff for the various features. You may not want to use all of them. I'm definitely not going to use all of them, but they are certainly useful. Now right here in the middle is a security setting, and I'm going to actually turn it off because I'm on switched power. Otherwise, it would give me a notice here every time I turn the bike off because it thinks somebody cut the battery power. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off guarded unauthorized movement. If you wish, you can disable all notifications. I'm not going to do that. Right now, co-op and reminders isn't doing anything, and there's nothing in news. Maybe they'll have some stuff pushing through. I'm not sure. If you click on the speed icon, you'll be able to see a record of what you've been doing. And of course, you can disable recording your speed entirely. And right now, the little navigation or trip icon doesn't do anything. I think that will come alive after I actually take it out for the first time. Same with the tracking and the map. Elevation is working, but there's no data yet. And then battery level will show us a periodic history of the recorded battery level at the unit. Now, if you do use the security features, you'll have a plethora of settings and notifications regarding that. So you can set this up to do pretty much whatever you want. Very handy for detecting a stolen bike, I have to say, especially in an apartment. I love the built-in crash detection. That will also send notices to someone that you program in. Great if you're doing solo trips, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, one thing I can't find yet is how to change from kilometers to miles. I'm going to have to ask the company about that. Maybe I'm missing it, or maybe they need to update the app and add that feature. So I reached out to the company to figure out how to change unit of measure, and they said it's under username. Wouldn't have thought to look there, so let's find username. Is it under settings? That's all the widgets. I don't think it's under widgets. That's current. Okay, so this is interesting. Anyway, I got back from a test ride here. On switched power, do note that that delay on it booting up and working applies. So you can see that green point there. That's where it turned on. I went up that side street on the left there. I made a big loop starting where you see in the bottom left-hand corner. So it took a few minutes there for it to register. Totally fine for a trip, you know, if you're using it like I am. But if you need this for a real detailed trip log, you're going to want it on constant power. Not a big deal for me, just something to note. What do these icons do at the bottom here? All right, so that just shows you some statistics. And no, I don't care about showing my info. All of my info is public information and always has been for years here in Florida. I don't care. What's this one do? Oh, a geofence. So if your bike goes out of a certain area, good for theft, or if you're loaning it to somebody. Okay, that's cool. So there's a lot of information here in the app, and it really depends on what you want to do with it, what is going to be important to you. I'm still looking for username, though. Date format, theme, measurements. Yay. Okay, so there's that. Boom, there you go. You want an easy peasy GPS tracker that you can give your login info to for loved ones or use it for security or whatever you want. No subscription. This is the one you want, period. And just to be clear, you don't need this app for anything. Just by starting the bike or having it powered on. You can fire up the app at any time, but it's working as long as it has power beyond that little initial couple minute delay. That's it. Hope it helps. See you next time.